Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name's Cashflow, and holy moly, the amount of issues I had to face getting to where I am right now is kind of insane. It took me like 45 minutes to set up this audio. You think, as an audio engineer, I would know how to work this crap, but it's mainly just OBS that pisses me off. Anyways, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a pretty simple, I guess, little baby type beat. I guess that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. I ain't got really nothing in mind. I'm just going to kind of cook up and show you guys what I go through and how I do it, what effects I use, what drums I typically use, and hopefully give you guys some tips, and I hope you guys enjoy. So first I'm going to go to Keyscape, grand piano. I'm kind of feeling a piano based melody. We're going to stay in C, probably. So the next couple of minutes I'm probably just going to develop the melody, and I probably will end up speeding this up because it's kind of boring just to watch me go through this process, but I'm just going to go through, try to come up with a cool melody, some chords, maybe a backup flute, or maybe guitar. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but right now I'm just going to get this the bounce going for the melody. So probably 140. I'll probably go to like 160, and we'll adjust it from there. So I'm going to set it at 162 for now, 161, and then we'll go to 171, and then we'll adjust it from there.
Kind of like that. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
And then if you need a way to just make these notes longer, you can just hit Control L. I'm going to copy that over. Now that's going to get repetitive, so I'm actually going to copy it over one more time. And if you didn't know how I did that, so like I'm right here, you can either hit Control A, and that'll select everything that you have, or if you just click and drag it over and then hit Control B, it'll try to bring it over. I thought it was Control V for the longest time and it would never work, but it's Control B. So that's kind of a mistake I made when I was first beginning. Alright, I'm feeling it. That's kind of just a very simple melody, and normally I would put chords on this, but I think I'm going to have just this part run for like the hook. I don't think I'm going to have this playing the entire beat because that's going to get kind of a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this because this is a grand piano. Or it's the same instrument I want. I am going to take this to a separate channel because I want these to be different volumes, and I don't want to, even though I'm going to have to make the same effects probably, I don't want to have to adjust the velocities too much on this. And I am going to go back and randomize these later, but for right now I'm not going to worry about that. F7 just takes you to the piano roll, so you don't have to right click. So if you just make sure you're selected on the one you want right here, F7, it'll take you right to the piano roll. Now I think with this, it is kind of a brighter melody, so I think I'm going to go with a lower chords, either 4 or 5, but I'm just going to start out and then kind of adjust it how I feel later. Come on. I kind of feel like, yeah, that's going to be perfect. All right. I think that sounds pretty good. All right, so we got that main part figured out. Now I'm going to hit Alt R, and this is gonna just randomize it. It's gonna randomize these velocities. I don't want to do it too much, like I don't want to go insane, but I just want to do barely enough to where you can just barely really does a job. So that's where it is. I'm probably gonna take it to about right here, just a teeny bit. After that, Alt S is gonna strum it. Strum it will take some of these notes and pull them off of the grid, I guess is what you could say. And again, it does it very little, but at the end, go to the here, and you can see that this note is a little bit longer. So then press and hold Alt, and then you can drag it back a little bit. Because if you just take the note and drag it normally, it's going to go to the nearest point. But if you hold Alt and drag it, you can bring it back to that area. Do not hit Alt Q once you've done this though, because this will quantize it and bring it right back. So as you can see, this note is a little bit off, and it just makes it sound a little bit more like humanized, I guess you could say. You don't always have to do this, but I tend to do it sometimes with pianos and then all the time with guitars. Otherwise, guitars just usually typically sound bad. So again, it's to the point where you may not even notice it, but here's what it sounds like. So you can kind of tell it's a little bit different. All right. All right, cool beans. I am going to go ahead and go in here and just drag these down a little bit, because these do not need to be so loud right now. Now, I think I want one more instrument in here. Because this is what's going to be playing most of the time. It's just this piano. So I think if we can get a flute, maybe. I don't know. So I don't know if I want a flute, maybe a bell. I think I'm going to go with a flute. Load up Contact, get this, Flute Essential. Definitely one of my favorites. Oh, duh. I was like, why is it? There we go. That was not in key. Now, by the way, I just realized something. You can see these notes right here, and you can see that they're tapered off at the end. So like we did before, when we changed these, right? When we strummed it, every note that we touch now or place is going to be off a little bit. So to fix this, if you just hit Control Q, it'll quantize it, which means it'll be the exact length of any whatever like magnet you have set right here. So I have it on half beat. If I were to put it to like a third beat, right, you can see that the marks are right here. So if I were to hit this, Control Q, or let's just here, you have it like right here, hit Control Q, and it'll bring it to this point right here. We want it in half beat though. We don't want it in third. So just make sure that once you've quantized it and you're onto something else, you definitely want to make sure that you fix that, because that might be a big problem. One thing I don't... Oh. I was tripping for a second. I thought I just broke everything. One thing I don't like about this flute... Not bad. It's actually fine. Usually this flute is very hard to work with, and it's kind of annoying, but that's not bad. Again, we'll mix these at the end. Right now we're just getting the bass melody, and that's pretty good. Again, the other thing is that these two right here are kind of clashing against one another. That's not going to matter, though, because these two are not going to be playing in the same area. This is going to come in towards the end of the verses. So this will be like the hook. And then for a build-up of the hook, for like the end of a verse, it's going to be like this. So they're not going to like clash with each other. So now that we have this, it's time to start moving on to drums. But before we do that, first off, before I add any effects to these, I will usually add in a clap, snare, whatever I'm going to use. So honestly, this clap is great. So now, because I can't access the whole thing right here, I'm just going to put in one clap, go up here, Control, and then slide over, and then just Control B all the way to the end, Control A, and then Alt, and then use my scroll wheel to go all the way up. And that's just maximizing the velocities. Sorry, brain fart. So the velocities right here is just making those as loud as they can go. And then from here, we'll throw it on track 4. That's not bad. That's pretty good. So then from here, we can throw in this main piano. So this is the chord, right? This is going to be a very loud one. First of all, now we're not mixing it now. We're just setting it close to where it's going to be so that we don't blow our eardrums out. Now for effects. It honestly doesn't need anything. But I have this plugin called ROM. This is from Native Instruments, I think. And I love this plugin. Pretty much all it is reverb and delay. But remember that every sound in like these plugins, most of these can be made from like just stock FL plugins. Like I said, this is just reverb and delay. So I'm bringing the size down a lot to about 30. The mix, because this is a lower frequency sound, you don't want too much, right? You really probably shouldn't put reverb on lower frequency instruments anyway, but we are going to take this to, let's try it with 20. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Now we got to throw an EQ on here. Now, when it comes to EQs, I love my 808s, and I love my 808s a little bit too much, right? I know people that will only EQ to about 80, but usually I'll do mine to about 150, to between the 1 and 150 range. Your main 808s are going to be around the, here, I'm going to make this bigger. Usually your 808s take up the 50 to about 100 range, and I don't want them clashing because I like my 808. So I'm going to cut it to like 150, maybe a little bit below. That's going to be good because I still want to have that sound of the low end in there, but at the same time I do not want I don't want them clashing because I want my 808s to bang. So right now this is really good, right? I'm not going to add any more effects. There's not really any reason to unless I wanted to change the actual sound of it. I can disable this clap right now. Now we have this main melody. Now first off, we're going to slightly mix it. Alright, that's not bad. Now, I'm just going to have this one on here. And I want them to be in almost the same vibe. So I'm going to throw in ROM. Bring this down to 30. Now, I took the other piano down to, I think, 12.5. I don't remember what I took it down to, actually. But if we throw it like 12.5, it kind of sounds dumb. Alright, I like that. Because this is a higher frequency, which a lot of it's hitting the 500 range. Too much reverb is going to make it sound like really too high, and it's going to hurt your ears. So you don't want too much, but a little bit is also nice. Sounds good. Now you can see it's taking up some low end, and especially in this part of the melody, I don't want any low end, so I'm going to cut it to right about like 150 because there's no reason to have any low end. So right now, alright, that's pretty good melody. Now we got this flute. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not going to add anything to this flute. Now you can see it doesn't even take up any low end, but I'm a psychopath and I have to cut it below 200. I'm sorry, I just have to. Now, like I said, these two are never going to be playing in the same area of the song, so I'm going to go ahead and mute it. Now, obviously in this, I'm not actually going to be going through the mix and master process. We'll do a rough mix at the end, but I'm not going to throw anything on there. I'm just going to rough mix it because I have to use headphones right now, and I don't like the headphones I'm using. Alright, so we got a clap. Now for hats, probably. Do I want snares on this? Absolutely, I want snares on this. So we'll do that first, snares. I like that one. Snare. And I have to rename these. I'm freaking weird. Like I said, this is just rough. This is not anything crazy. Now, a lot of times I'll go crazy with the snares and kind of give it its own pattern, but because it's a baby type beat, we're not going to go too crazy with it. Alright, next hats. I think that's a pretty good hat. This is one of my favorite hats. Out of all these freaking kits, this has got to be one of my favorites. This long Alt U will bring up this menu, and you can kind of just select how many options you want. Now, that sounds terrible, I know, but we're gonna go back and change it in a minute. I just want to get the basic. Okay, now that we have this figured out, we can go back and change the velocities and panning. The last one is here. The pan as well. I'll probably just have it going from like side to side. Sounds freaking amazing. I'm just going to leave this probably normal, but I am going to change the velocities. Just something like this. I don't know. Get creative with the hats. Where's the next one? Down here. Yeah, so we're going to have to mess around with this one a little bit. Probably set the first one down here and then go all the way up from there. Probably even more than that, honestly. Yeah, it's freaking sick. The panning. I think, honestly. Again, you can do this however you want. This is just kind of what I'm feeling. Now, if you have headphones on, this sounds pretty cool. And I'm not going to go all the way. Actually, I might go all the way. I am going to go more than that, honestly. That is freaking sick. Okay. All right, that's all I'm going to do with the hats. Just something kind of simple. Yeah, like that. All right. From here, hats are way too loud, so we're going to turn them down a little bit, just kind of as a background instrument. Okay, 808. I like this one. Jeez, hello. Always cut this, dude. So many producers do not cut this and cut their 808s, and they just stack on top of each other, and it literally makes me want to cry. 808 pattern, it's going to be super simple. I don't want anything too crazy. In fact, I know what I'm going to do for this. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and lengthen these ones. Copy this over here. These freaking headphones are terrible. Oh, I know what I want to do. The 808s is kind of one of the hardest things because I always want to make it unique, but all right. We can go ahead and enable this. I'm just going to try a couple different things and then see what works and what doesn't. All right, I like this. Now, we are going to take the velocities of this top layer right here and bring it down a little bit. This one too. Simply because the higher the velocity, the easier it is to hear. Sorry, the higher the octave is, then the easier it is to hear. So we want to bring down the velocity a little bit, just so it's not too overbearing. And we still might bring this down a little bit more. We'll just have to see. Now, I don't want the same pattern repeating the entire time, so no, I don't like that at all. Alright, that's good. I like that. I actually like that. It's crazy. Now, we are going to go to here and turn on this envelope because I do want to kick as well. The only thing I'm going to change here is the attack. I'm going to leave these three the same because I don't want to adjust the hold or anything. I just want the attack to go down a little bit so that it can make room for that kick. Because if you hear it now, it almost doesn't need a kick, but I want it to punch really hard. So I'm going to adjust this attack a little bit just to give room for the kick. Okay, that sounds good. And just for you guys wondering, yes, I checked this 808 and it's in C. I just didn't check it because there's no need to. And just to show you how, right click, open an audio editor, hit the flag, detect pitch regions. I hit the wrong thing. Detect pitch regions. Sorry. C2, it's in C, you're good. If it's not, say this was in F or whatever, I will never for the life of me understand why producers make 808s in F, but I'm just not going to say anything. You'd go to right here and then hit F, which is this key right here, or whichever one it's on. You would just right click on that one and it would select it. I'm not going to do that because it's in C and it's already on there, so we're fine. That means the 808's in key. All right, now with this, I'm actually going to show you that. Maybe. No, that's too much. Dang, I'm really good at this. I think I'm going to use this one, honestly. I like this one. All right, now we are actually going to check this. I want to make sure that this is right. Detect pitch regions. Looks like G sharp, I guess. Okay. Copy this over, Control C, Control V, we hit Control F, Shift D, Alt K. Shift D makes them short to a single note, and then Alt K brings them all to the same level. And then I'm going to hit Control A, Alt scroll up. Now, before you play this, you want to make sure you go to this and turn it down, otherwise it might blow your ears out. I actually might use this other kick. I like this one, yeah. All right. This one was not in C. This was in right here, G sharp. Now, you can see how this sounds really low. It's not bad, but bring it up an octave, it'll give it that punch. You don't want it too much, but that's perfect. I just checked it, and it was in G sharp. It was not in C, so you had to change it, just like I showed you with the 808. I just did not show you with the kick. Sorry. All right, so now that we got these two, they're actually not clashing that much, but for the sake of the video, we are going to sidechain it. Kind of quiet, though, honestly. Okay. All right, we got this right here. You go down, right click, sidechain to this track. Now, there's multiple ways you can do this, but if we're actually going to sidechain it, then this is how you do it. I'll pull open a limiter, the fruity limiter, hit the comp, sidechain, track 8. That's where our kick is. Bring down the threshold, ratio, and then the release. Now you can see every time this kick hits, it's ducking the 808 just a slight bit. I just want the kick to punch through. Now, this track has a very simple 808 pattern. If you were to have a... My battery's finna die. That's chill. We'll finish this in 11%. If you were to have an 808 roll and you layer with a kick, you do not want to use this method, because think about it. Every time a kick hits, it's ducking that 808. So if you have an 808 roll and for some reason you're using kicks, then you probably just want to EQ the 808 and kick. You probably want to duck the 808 right where the kick is hitting. So like, I'm not going to do it because it's not the way I chose, but just to show you, I'll bring up an EQ. Just make bigger, dude. So you can kind of see that the kick is really hitting. If we're going to bring this up, I'll try not to kill your ears. That is way too much. All right, that's the punchy part. You can hear it, right? All right, I'm going to plug this in so we don't get cut off. Okay. You can hear that this is the punchy part. About 165. So, you bring it up just a teeny bit. And then go to your 808. And then you would bring up the same area. So right click. I guess you can't copy it. Oops. Anyways, go to your 808 pattern. Pull up an EQ. And then match it with 165. But instead of bringing it up on the 808, just bring it down a little bit. And that'll give your kick it'll give that space so your kick can hit. I don't need to do it because I actually sidechained it. Of course, I'm mixing this on I'm using Beats headphones right now, so the mix probably sounds terrible. And I'm not gonna mix it through these headphones. I have monitors, but I can't play monitors with the mic in front of me. All right, so that's the kick and 808 pattern we're gonna use. We got the hats, claps, and snares. Oh, this is quiet. Like I said, it's very simple. So we have everything enabled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always have to color code these because I'm a freak of nature. And then once you have all of these selected, 1 through 8, just come tap on mixer track 1, Control Shift L, and it'll bring them all out. Now from here, we can go here and split by channel. If you click kick, hold shift, and then click your first one, it'll select all of them. You can bring them out on here. Hit Control B 2 or 3 times, and then you can start making the arrangement. I'm probably going to change this arrangement, but for right now, I'm just going to do something super simple. So I don't want this in here. This is 10 seconds. This is about 20 seconds. 20 seconds is kind of a long intro, so we're probably going to have the bass drop right here. Meaning I'm not going to have this here. I'm going to have the claps and snares start here, and then the hats will start later. So it is going to be a pretty fast drop, but have my tag somewhere, you know. Now, this flute, get out of here. So right here is what I would consider to be the hook. So I'm going to hit Control T. It'll add a timestamp. Rename it. I'm just going to put hook. You don't have to do this, but I do. So this is the drop. Now, you can make these however long you want to. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to make it 2 bars because, or 2 things long, because I don't really want to go too deep into this. Now, the next part right here is going to be the verse. So I'm going to go here, add marker, just right click, add marker, and I'm just going to hit V1. Copy the drums over. Now I am going to put this flute right here. So you'll have one instance of just the piano. Now, first off, I skipped a whole part. Usually right here, I will have a switch up in drums. So I think if you right click and then use your scroll wheel, you can change the instruments up here. So I'm going to go to the cut tool, and I'm going to go down to claps, and I'm going to cut them between the 2 claps. I'm going to cut the probably 808s to here. I'm going to keep the kicks in. No, I'm cutting the kicks too. Sounds weird. Okay, cool. This thing is freaking so loud. Holy moly. Now, we can see that this flute changes right here, right? So, this last bar right here, sorry. Right here, I don't want the kick or 808. And then the hats, I kind of want to stop. All right, clap right here. I'm going to stop the hats right at this clap right here. And then I actually am going to take out the snares for this last part. I'm going to take this clap out too. And then we can take this over, 1, 2, delete this last part, so we can have a hook at the end. You don't have to do it, but I do. Rename hook. All right, we got everything labeled. Now at the very end, All right, that's going to be my end. And I'm going to have it cut off right here. So we can just select here to here. F9 brings up this thing. And then if you right click on the master, you can create an automation clip. From right here, I'll bring down this end, bring this up a little bit. Cool, that sounds amazing. All right, so right there, we kind of have our track laid out. Now, of course, you can throw effects, whatever. If you want to change up, say, this part of the piano, then you could add a filter, whatever. For me, I'm just going to add tags, and then maybe a riser, and then an impact. So just real quick, I'll just take these, throw a riser right before the drop, throw a impact right there, and then kind of just play around with this, you know. The 808's kind of not my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. For this beat, it probably wasn't the best, but... Or for this pattern, at least. Like, some 808 rolls would have been crazy, but... First thing that I came up with. Now, yes, I know this is loud. So I'm only gonna put 3 effects, just because I don't like putting a lot. I'll let the artist do their thing. Bring open the channel rack. If you just select this up, I have to color everything. Then go to track 9, Control Shift L, it'll bring it here. Again, rough mix, this is not. Now this thing is loud, so I'm gonna leave it there for now. Yeah, other than that, I'll probably, because I'm gonna be putting this on BeatStars, I am gonna take my tag and put it everywhere so that artists cannot just steal my music. Happens all the time. Have it right there so it sounds like this. Kind of on the drop. I don't know. Have it once more here. And then that's kind of the beat. That's pretty much how you do it. Again, I'm not going to go through the mastering process because this video is already insanely long. But that's kind of the main part of the beat. I got the main melody. I got the chords. I got this little flute just to kind of get hyped for the main hook area. And then you got some drums, your hats, claps, and everything's. For little baby type beats, you want kind of a catchy melody. And then just some hard-hitting drums. Baby usually doesn't have long 808s. Most of his songs typically have like really short 808s, and that's where you see the rolls come in. Like, I don't know, drill beats, for example. Use 808s like that because they're long. You can control them a lot better. Or this one. Right? But for this example, just something short is kind of what we went with. And then other than that, just... Alrighty. Well, I'm going to let a little bit of this beat play out. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope you learned something. I'm going to be doing more of these tutorials. More just making beats. Probably maybe live shoes in the future. But thank you guys for watching.
Podcast.